Good morning, guys. Today I'd like to begin with an invitation to the Childhood Obesity Summit. It's an online summit that a friend of mine put together. He was really interested in finding expert opinions on how to rid the earth of the stigma of childhood obesity, if that's even possible. But anyway, he interviewed myself, he interviewed my brother, who's brilliant, and my mentor, Paul Check, who's brilliant, and several other experts on what we think could eradicate this problem that we're having in our culture. So if you're interested in hearing what I have to say about that, there's a link in the description down below. It's also on my blog post to register and listen to it for free, I believe, and then you can purchase the MP3 formats for later. But anyway, you can take a look at that. Today I want to talk a little bit about, when it comes to parenting, we're also talking about leadership. And parents and leaders are in a position where I don't want to say in control of or lord over other people, because that's not really ever the case. We never actually lord over anyone or control anyone. What we can do and what we do, besides, straight up slavery and shackles and chains, what we really do when we're in an environment where we're looking to influence other people is we control energy. Now I know that sounds like some hippie shit, but you need to understand that it's far easier to recognize the physiological responses, the psychological responses in our own bodies to stress and challenges, rather than trying to tell other people what to do while under stress and when there's challenges. And we all are under stress and we all have challenges. I mean, anybody who has children knows what I'm talking about. Trying to get out the freaking door can be a problem. So anyone who runs an organization, anyone who's a manager, anybody who is in leadership in any particular way, shape, or form understands you've got to deal with challenges and stressful circumstances. But the ungrounded leader, the ungrounded parent, the parent and person who is not rooted in their own physiology, busily tries to manipulate and change other people and circumstances out there. They want to tell people what to do. They want to yell to the top of their lungs, trying to get things across to other people. And at some point, parents become physical. You're not listening to what I'm saying, so they want to grab you and shake you and make you do it. Right? What those people don't understand, what those types of bosses don't understand, what those type of parents don't understand about human behavior is that in order to influence someone else, we must first check ourselves. So, for example, if you would like, I think a great quote by Gandhi, right? It's been overquoted 1,000 million quadrillion times. I've seen Instagram quote memes everywhere with the little Indian guy wearing glasses who says, "Be the change that you'd like to see in the world." Well, that is a profound and brilliant way to put it. If you want your children, like I referred to in my blog post, if you want your children to practice healthy habits, you want your children to drink water, then you yourself should be practicing healthy habits and drinking water. If you want your workers, if you want your friends, if you want anyone in your environment who you're hoping to influence in a positive way to take action in that direction, you yourself must first take that action. I remember when I was a kid, when we would find ourselves bored, as all kids in developing nations do, right? Because we've got so much available to us. We get bored. That's fucking crazy, right? With all the toys and the video games and the opportunities available, we get bored. So when I would say to my dad, "Dad, I'm bored," he would tell me, "Well, go read a book." And that became a mantra to him when he saw us not doing, engaging in anything constructive. My dad has always been a proponent of engaging in constructive activity, using your time wisely. He would say, "Go read a book. Go read a book. You guys are just sitting around here, go read a book. You're not doing anything, go read a book." Well, the thing is, he said it till he was blue in the face, And we never read any fucking books. We never read any books when we were kids. And in retrospect, and I love my dad, he's probably going to watch this video, but he knows what I'm talking about when I say this. I've never seen the man read a freaking book in my life. My dad wants us to read books, and he understands here, right, that it's a good idea for my children to read books because it's going to advance their education and they're going to become something in the world if they absorb new information by reading books. But at the same time, the first time I saw my dad read a book was the Bible about 2 years ago. Right? So it never really worked out that way. He'd say go read a book and we'd kind of say no or roll our eyes or pretend like we're going to read and go do something else. We weren't allowed to say no to my dad. So we would go and pretend to do something else. I also grew up with a friend whose parents, he was an only child, his name was David, whose parents, when I would go to his house, were constantly reading books. I'd go into the house and his dad would be sitting there on the couch reading a freaking book. His mom would be in the kitchen reading a book, and then she'd come down and sit in her special chair and she'd read a book. Never once did these people ever tell me, and they had a library, they had a big old library in their house, books everywhere. Never once did these people tell me, Elliott, you need to read a book. Elliott, you need to read books. Reading is good for you. I just used to go to his house every weekend and I'd see these people reading books. As I got older, you know, I spent a significant amount of time at my friend's house. As I got older, when I was towards the end of college, I started to have this, especially when I left college, I started having this longing for a return to stability. I think all of us who graduate college, you know, around the age of 23, you know, we're supposed to go out into the world, but at the same time, every time you're going out into the world, you're also hoping to bring along with you grounding activities. That's why, you know, if you, like a little kid who's going to sleep over someone else's house, the grounding activity of bringing his teddy bear, right? Those of you who left for college, I guarantee you, you probably brought little mementos, little things that grounded you in your upbringing in order to keep you feeling safe when you're venturing off into the new world. One of the things that made me feel safe, one of the things that affected me in a deep way were books. And I had to think back as to how the hell did this happen, because my parents never read any books, we never had any libraries, but it really, it flashed forth in my mind. It became very clear to me at that moment, I am getting a sense of consolement, is that the right word, a sense of safety and security, because of the experiences that I had in my friend's home with his parents reading books. And I'd read books and I'd feel safe and fun like I was with my best friend at his house. Those people controlled energies, Mr. and Mrs. Chauvin. They controlled energy. They controlled me. They controlled the environment, not by trying to manipulate it by telling people what to do or telling us what to do, but by they themselves taking on the character and the habit that they would like to see reflected in the young people in their homes. This extends itself across the board, far beyond just that of the relationship between child and parent, but like I said, even amongst your friends, right? How much of an energetic anchor are you? How strong and potent is your power to change your own character, your own habits, your own thoughts, fears, hopes, and dreams in order to change the people around you? Now, this is not 100% every single time it's going to work that way, but I can tell you one thing. If you don't change the people in your circumstance, the people in your world don't change after you've evolved, I can guarantee you this. A number of things will probably happen. They will seemingly disappear. You won't have to push them away. Because you're evolving, because you're becoming the type of person you'd like to see in the world, because you're becoming the change you'd like to see in the world, your world is going to change, and sometimes it requires people disappearing. And it'll just happen that way. A lot of us become very arrogant in our choices, right? I stopped smoking, and because I stopped smoking, anyone who smokes needs to get far from away from me. Be gone, you ill smokers. Doesn't have to work that way. The simple fact that you don't smoke means you're not going to be going on smoking breaks anymore. And you probably won't be chatting with those people. You don't have to push them away. Your energy will take care of it. Your character, who you are, your thoughts, your habits, your hopes and dreams for having a healthier body. Guess what? You'll probably start talking to people who are eating vegetables. You won't have to force it. You won't have to force them. But they're going to be attracted to you because you're a vegetable eater. Do you see how this works? So, I'll leave you with this. Let's open a dialogue, friends, about what we might be able to do in order to change ourselves so that we could see the reflection of our strongest version, the best that we could be, in other people. Had a conversation not too long ago. I said I'd leave you with this, but I just remember this one. Had a conversation too long ago with a friend and mentor of mine. And he says, Elliott, be very clear and cautious about what you're teaching people through your videos, what you're teaching people at your gym, what you're sharing with your students and your customers and your fans and your friends, because you're essentially creating the world that you're going to ultimately live in. You're going to sleep in the bed that you made, right? You make your bed and now you sleep in it. And if you're putting out videos, if you're putting out information, you're putting out ideas, if you're putting out a character, a way of being that is not conducive with what you would hope to see the world as, right? Imagine you come back. I'm going to come back in 2 generations and my vibration has reverberated through lineage, multiple people. And I come back and I see a bunch of people acting real arrogant and angry and fearful and hatred and hateful. I can only expect to have that be the reflection if that's the way I've been carrying myself. So I'll leave you with this once more. What kind of vibrations are you setting out? What are you setting up? What are you setting the world up to be like for future generations? Imagine you could be on a fly on the wall and you come back in 100 years and you could see the butterfly effect of what you've created with your thoughts, your character, and so on and so forth. Would you like what you see? Right? Are the people sick, and overweight, and fearful, and jealous, and angry, and hateful, and prejudiced, and biased, and have all sorts of illness mentally and physically? Or is it a world where people hug one another and smile? Is it a world where people make good choices about the food that they eat? Is it a world where the water is clean and the air is fresh? It'll be completely contingent upon the way you think and act today. Done.